Good morning, it's Ami. Today, I'm gonna show you guys how I study in my life. Let's get started. Now, what do I study? I study English, French, Spanish. I'm trying to learn Arabic, everything else. Acting, American accent, all of it. Because for me, it's a lifestyle. I always want to be learning something. I'll show you guys like how I incorporate studying into my life. And at the same time, I'm gonna try to do my makeup, which is really hard. I don't think I can multitask. So, ちょっと日本語にしますけど、英語を皆さん学ばれてる方が多いと思うんですよね。英語を学ばれてる方に、私のちょっとしたコツとか、そういうのを、どういう風に生活の中で簡単に勉強というものを取り入れていけるかっていうのをやっていきたいんですけど、なんでネイティブの人から学ぶんじゃなくて、私からこういう説明を聞く必要があるのかっていうことについて話したいんですけど、ネイティブの人たちは、その言語を話して育ったわけで、もちろん自分の最初の言語は誰でも喋れるようになるじゃないですか。大体の場合。皆さんも日本語完璧に喋れてますよね。人によってその文才があるないとかあるにしろ、一つ目の言語はみんな簡単にマスターしてるじゃないですか。子供の頃からやってるから。だから、その人たちにどうやってその英語、その言語をマスターしたのって聞くのは、ちょっとポイントがずれてると思うんですよ。で、たまにその帰国子女でちっちゃい頃からアメリカに行ってでもお家では日本語喋ってたから両方喋れるとかいう方いるんですけど、それはもちろんその人たちも教えられることがいっぱいあると思うんですね。ただその人たちは本当に自然と、子供って本当に吸収力が全然違うから、大人になって学ぶのとは全然違うから、その人たちもネイティブだから、その人たちにアドバイスを聞くのもちょっとなんか違うなって思うんですよね。例としたら、もともと超大金持ちだった家族のところに子供ができて、その子供がなんでお金持ちかって言ったら自然なことじゃないですか。なんか逆にじゃあ、もともとお金ゼロで、そこからお金持ちになった人の話を聞く方が、同じことを真似しようとしてる人にとっては利益があると思うんですよね。だから英語も同じで、Okay, I'm back to English. So I didn't speak English growing up. I came to the US when I was 19, so that's when I actually started speaking English. And because I didn't speak English growing up, I think I'm in a position to tell you what to do, what not to do when it comes to English learning. So, first thing first, I utilize all the time I have to study something.So right now I'm doing makeup and I'm filming this, so it's a little bit of like too much of a multitasking. But when I'm just doing the makeup, I usually put on podcast or even I'll show you this app. It's called Pimsleur.
She just finished her studies also.
Elle vient de finir ses études. Elle vient aussi finir ses études.Elle
vient de finir ses études aussi.
Aussi. Elle vient de finir ses études aussi.
Elle ajoute. And she just bought a new car.
Elle vient d'acheter une voiture.
Et elle vient d'acheter une nouvelle voiture.
Une nouvelle voiture.
Une nouvelle voiture.
Une nouvelle voiture.
My niece's best friend is very nice.
La meilleure amie de ma nièce est très sympa.La
meilleure amie de ma nièce est très sympa.
Très sympa.
We would quite like to invite you to have dinner.
On aimerait bien vous inviter à dîner. On aimerait bien vous inviter à dîner.
On aimerait bien vous inviter à dîner.
Hi. So what I was doing just now, there is this app Pimsleur. What's great about this app or method is that they say one thing and you're gonna have to repeat.For learning anything, the repetition is the key. It's like training your muscles. In order for you to be able to actually speak in a conversation, you have to train that muscle. So in order for you to train the muscle, you have to repeat the same thing over and over again. And this is how babies learn to speak.They try, they don't get it right the first time, they try again, they listen, they try again. That's how you learn to speak. I spend a lot of time using this app because it's easy, I just play it and then say it. They let you do the repetition a lot, which is very, very good. If you are interested, there is an English version as well, of course. I'll link it down below, so check it out.I I said earlier that I'm not good at multitasking, but that's a lie. I'm gonna take that back. Because I remember back when I was a student, like even high school, junior high student, my method of studying for an exam was always like multitasking, right? So for example, I would be blow drying my hair. At the same time, I'm doing the stretches because I was a dancer. I was doing the stretches and I was looking at some like notebooks or something to memorize something. So I was doing like 3 things at the same time, and that was always the case for me. I always try to optimize my time. And nowadays we know that multitasking isn't necessarily the most productive thing because your focus is dispersed, or what's the word? Your focus is distributed, right? So it's not like laser focus. But I would say that multitasking can be very helpful when you are focusing on one thing that's most important, for example, the studying the material, and other things like drying my hair, stretching comes so natural that I don't even have to think about doing those things, you know, because when you're brushing teeth, you're not really thinking about anything. It's just so natural, right? You don't have to like focus, be careful like not to like stub yourself or something. So combining 1 or 2 things that's so easy, like washing dishes and listening to something to stimulate your brain, is a way to study sometimes, if you like.
Peut-être que c'est une bonne manière de vraiment aussi fêter son mariage avec seulement les gens les plus proches.
Nothing to do with the topic of English, but look at these layers, especially the avocado part. Oh my god, it's so nicely stacked. Wow. It's hard to eat when it looks that good. So I keep saying if you want to be able to speak it, you have to speak it. You have to practice speaking. But how? An obvious way to practice speaking is to have English tutor or whatever language you're learning, like a teacher, good teacher, right? And have an online lesson or in-person lesson so that you can actually practice speaking. You could probably manage to do that once a week or maybe twice a week if you have enough funds. But that's not so realistic to say that you should spend all your money you have on your language learning. I don't think that's realistic. So what you could do instead is, I'm gonna show you. To practice speaking, you could do it by yourself. And this method I borrow from YouTubers that I saw. I'm gonna put like names and information here. But basically, you talk to a camera, record yourself, listen to what you say to figure out what you knew and what you didn't know. I'm gonna demonstrate with my French. It's gonna be very hard and really painful to watch, but I'm gonna do it anyway for you guys. Let's see. I'm gonna talk about my day. On y va. Aujourd'hui, je me suis levée très tard. Je me suis levée à 10 heures. Je n'ai rien. See, I'm struggling. I have nothing to do today. Je n'ai rien de faire aujourd'hui. Je suis chez moi. Et en fait, je enregistre. I record. I don't know the word record. Je enregistre or something like that. Je record une vidéo pour YouTube, pour ma chaîne de YouTube. Dans cette vidéo, je parle sur comment on peut améliorer notre apprentissage de la langue. はい、こんな感じで、まあ私のフランス語は適当なことをなんか言えるっていう感じのレベル。全然流暢とかなんとかでもないけど、これをじゃあビデオを撮った後に見てみて、わからなかった単語、ちょっと今日はアナログ式に紙でいきますけど、わからなかった単語、例えば私は録画する、フィルム、to film の、単語がわからなかったんで、それでしょ。それから、I have nothing to do today。それの言い方がわからなかったから、それを書く。Afterwards, I'm gonna go to app, try to look up the words I wanted to say. Oh, apparently you can say I'm filming by saying je filme. That was easy. But I know there's another word that's for to record. To record. Enregistrer. I knew this word, but I didn't know how to conjugate. I record.
J'enregistre une vidéo.
J'enregistre une vidéo. J'enregistre une vidéo aujourd'hui pour YouTube. Just like that. And also, I don't have anything to do today. Je n'ai rien à faire aujourd'hui. Okay. Je n'ai rien à faire aujourd'hui. I think I said je n'ai rien dû faire aujourd'hui. Je n'ai rien à faire aujourd'hui. And after that, you go back to filming again one more time to practice what you just learned. I'm gonna just do that to this camera. Aujourd'hui, je me suis couché, not couché. Aujourd'hui, je me suis levé très tard à 10 heures. Et aujourd'hui, je n'ai rien à faire. Donc, j'enregistre une vidéo pour YouTube. Et je suis très contente et je me sens très bien. 日本人の方で英語をまずやってる方に比べて私はまず英語をもう知ってるのでそこからフランス語とか他の言語に行くことってちょっと簡単だと思うんですよ。なんでかっていうと日本語からの英語って全く違う頭の使い方だったりするんですけど英語からのフランス語って、似てるところが多いからそこまで180度違った考え方とかしなくて済むんですね。だからその分この私が英語を知ってる上でフランス語を勉強してるっていうのはもうだいぶアドバンテージがあるような気がするんですけれどもそれでもやっぱりこうやって独り言で練習できることってすごい多いと思うんですよ。だから本当に誰の迷惑にもならないしお金もかからないことなので喋る練習したいよっていう方はぜひこの方法をおすすめします。はい、ぜひ試してみてください。
My niece and her best friend will be at my place.
Ma nièce et sa meilleure
amie seront chez moi.
Seront chez moi. Ma nièce et sa meilleure amie seront chez moi. Okay, so you practice speaking by recording yourself and listen to it and by looking up words. And now what? Again, repetition is the key. So even when you learn a new word, if you've only practiced once, you're not gonna remember it. So you have to keep going back to the same word or the sentences, right? So what you can do is you can have a notebook dedicated for studying, or there are a bunch of apps for making flashcards. Either way, I do recommend having some sort of tool to keep track of what you learn, because otherwise not everybody's brain works the same way, but I wouldn't remember it. So I need to write it down or make something out of it to maximize my memory. So what I would do is either make a flashcard, tangocho, or have a notebook and write everything down that you learn. And you have to go back and look at it so that it sticks to your brain. Next, I want to talk about how to practice listening. And this is very difficult for me to answer because honestly, I forgot how I did it. I've been living in the States for a long time that my ears are so accustomed to listening to English that it's hard for me to remember how I got better. But at the beginning, before I even moved to the US, I tried to listen to any English contents, American English contents, as much as I could. Back in the day, it wasn't an iPhone, it was iPod. Do you guys remember that? I was so happy with my iPod. I had the pink one. I would go look for podcasts, American English podcasts, and I was just remembering this one. It's called This American Life. What I was doing is pick whatever episode they have and listen to it the first time. It's probably too fast for you and you can't understand any of it. But podcast, YouTube, whatever platform you use, you can slow down the speed. When you are new to the language, you are struggling with the speed of a native speaker speaking, I really recommend slowing it down. This makes a huge difference in your understanding the language, so let's practice a little bit with this episode. So I'm playing this episode in normal speed.
Like I haven't even seen him for a month, you know what I mean? When I walked around Lauren's neighborhood with her, it had been 2 months since her boyfriend broke up with her. They'd gone up for about 10 months before that. She was incredibly nice to let herself be taped in still a pretty raw state.
Even for me, this one was a little difficult because these people have some sort of specific speech pattern to it that it's not like listening to a news anchor talking. But I'm gonna slow it down. I'm using a Spotify. Do you see the 1x? You press here and there's option of speed. Make it faster, you can slow it down. Let's do it half the speed.
But even in the middle of that raw state, she was acutely aware and said herself that everything she was going through was a cliche.
That was a little bit too slow to understand, but I think what's important for someone who's just starting out is to know the word separation. Because what happens a lot of times in native speaker talking is it sounds like all the words are all put together. You can't even make a distinction between the words, each word, right? So just to train your ears to identify where are the words, what kind of words are even said, just to practice that, I think it's helpful to listen to really slowly spoken English. This is slightly faster than half the speed.
A cliche that she was forced to live through.
That's the crazy thing about it is it's breaking up with someone is literally the most common thing.
She has a very nasally, habit of talking. I wouldn't call this an accent, but she was like,
broke up with everyone they ever dated.
Everyone that they dated. She sounds like this. So it's a little hard to listen to. Everyone you dated.
Until maybe the person they're with right now, if they're with.
Until maybe the person you're with right now. It's kind of hard to hear. So not every single person speaks this sort of clean sounding English. I'm not saying hard English is not clean, but for beginner learners, it's easier to listen to something a little bit more clean. So with that, I would recommend watching reality shows rather than TV shows or movies, because usually reality shows people are speaking a little bit more clearer and it's a real colloquial speech, so it's not scripted, right? I mean, reality shows are scripted, but their words most of the time, I don't think they are scripted. It's a great practice to listen to reality shows, listen to or watch the reality show. And probably the best for someone just starting out is to watch cartoon shows, because usually they talk very clearly and speed is not as fast because it's meant for children, right? So I think it's a great place to practice your listening. Disney movies might be a good place to start. And another thing you could do is use someone like me. Use my content to, practice your listening, because I'm not a native speaker, so I can't offer how native speakers sound or talk, right? But what I can do is I have the Japanese brain, and my English comes from my Japanese brain. So I was just talking to my sister who speaks French. She's been practicing English more as well. And she was saying that my English is easy to understand because our brains work the similar way. So even just composing a sentence, making a sentence, I think it's true that somehow, because I know this person's brain well, as a Japanese person, I can see their cognitive process. I can understand better. Does that make sense? So I'm just saying my English vlogs might be helpful to some people. Please utilize whatever available for free. Yeah, pick whatever that you enjoy the most and you really love. I think that's very important. Hey, I came to the gym. I keep saying this, but try to utilize all the small amount of time you have in your daily life, because 5 minutes there, 10 minutes here and there really adds up in the end, especially if you have a long commute. Either you take a bus, train, or you drive. those times are very precious. You could be doing a lot of things using that time. I know you might be tired after work, or you don't want to study before going to work, but try to find something you enjoy doing. For example, if you enjoy listening to a podcast or music even, I think that could count. Because I assume everybody is so busy, finding the time and actually dedicating that time to grow your skill or improve yourself is crucial. Because when you think about, okay, I have to find a time 1 hour a day somewhere in my daily life, it's hard. 1 hour from already busy life, and you have to sit down and focus. I think that's really hard, and I don't know if you like studying. I don't like to sit on a desk and try to study. I'm done with that after university. I don't want to study, right? But I still want to learn though. So since you're not tied to grades, performance in school, you could be doing anything to learn anything, right? So make it fun. Make it so that you enjoy it, actually enjoy it. I think that's very important to continue your learning. I try to increase the practice minutes, hours as much as I can. And I think that's something you could be doing too. Just make it fun. It's very important. Make it fun. はい、最後にちょっと皆さんにご紹介したいアプリがもう一つだけあるので、ちょっと最後まで耳を傾けていただけますでしょうか。Speak っていうアプリなんですけど、もう最初から言っときます。これはちょっとだけ宣伝みたいになっちゃうんですけれども、なんでかっていうと、これ私が講師としてアプリのね、イングリッシュレッスンに登場してるんです。去年の夏からこのスピークの撮影が始まって参加させていただくことになったんですけど、Vlog の中でもちょこちょこ言ってるかもしれないんですけどね、こんな感じなのでちょっとお見せします。Hey, how are ya?
Good, you?
元気です。あなたは？
Good, you?
I'm good. 元気です。すいません、ちょっと部屋が乾燥してて。何を飲んでるかって？コーヒーです。It's coffee. 英語で何かの名前を教えるとき、It's 何々で表現できます。日本語にすると、何々ですと同じで、意外とこれだけで使えるシチュエーションがめちゃくちゃ多いんです。はい、こんな感じのアプリで、ちょっと恥ずかしいんですけど、先ほども言ってた Pimsleur のアプリは聞いて繰り返してリピートする、そういうアプリだったんですけど、これも結局そういう感じで動画があったりして、すごい構成のいいレッスンの仕組みになってます。この私が担当させていただいているコーナーは、日本人の方のために日本語で説明をしつつ英語を一緒にやっていくっていう感じで、もうちょっとレベルの高い方は全部英語のコースとかもあって、レベルがいろいろあるので、皆さんの好きなように選んでいただけるっていう感じなんですね。で、一つ一つのレッスンが結構短くて10分20分とかでできるんじゃないかな。レッスンごとに学ぶことをすごくまとめてフォーカスしてあるので、そのレッスンを終わった後にはこれは完璧に言えるようになりますよねぐらいのシステムなので、すごくおすすめです。何回も言ってるんですけど、本当に自分が思っている以上に反復復習で喋ってとにかく繰り返すっていうことが一番大事なので、それを一番楽しくできるためには何をしたらいいのか、どういう方法が一番いいのかっていうのは、皆さん人によって違うと思うので、その方法を見つけるととても役立つと思います。なのでこのスピークアプリ興味がある方は、私はこのレッスンの内容を見てて、なんかストーリー仕立てみたいな感じで順番にやっていけばやっていくほどストーリーがこう展開していく感じなので、すごくやってて楽しいとは思いますので、ご興味ある方は有料版と無料版があるんですけど、ちょっと日本から参加した時の仕組みがちょっとよく分かってないんですけれども、一応リンクを貼っておくので、なんかちょっと割引になるようなリンクだと思うので、ぜひ皆さん見てみてください。Alright, I think that's it. It was everything I wanted to share in this video. I'm very open to answering questions, and I'm always checking Instagram's DM. I always answer to that. So if you have any questions, requests, please send me a DM. Of course, I respond to YouTube comments too, but maybe sometimes to ask a question, YouTube comments are public, so you might feel a little shy. So if that's the case, please DM me on Instagram. I'm honestly just trying to help anyone who wants to be able to speak English, and because I know the joy of it, it's really fun to be able to speak another language and your world expands just because you speak English, right? And I just simply want to help you. Because I come from Japan, I know how Japanese people feel towards English and, you know, the kind of cultural nuances. And so I'm targeting, of course, Japanese people because I'm Japanese, but I really encourage people to keep going with English learning as long as they want to learn English. It's such a joy. It's really fun. I just want to help you find the joy in learning English. Honestly, I'm open to doing lessons with you guys. Like, I'm very open. I just want to help. That's it. So any questions, any requests, please send me a DM or put it in the comments, please. Alright. I really appreciate you watching until the end. This means a lot to me. Thank you so much always, and see you next time. Bye.